Hey guys, I'm trying this one more time. I'm going to say hello to all of you who may be catching me on the replay. Man, oh goodness, this has been so frustrating. But I'm going to push forward and hopefully wait and see if you guys can catch me. I switched from my device to my PC. I don't know. I don't know what to do except keep going. You guys let me know if it's working on your end as you're coming in the broadcast. I am not dual broadcasting tonight. I thought maybe trying to come on with you guys on my device would work better, but that didn't work first go around. So anyway, for those of you who've never, ever been in a live broadcast with me before, I am Tanya Wilson-Cherry. I'm a business consultant and certified life coach. I have a 20-plus year background in the beauty industry as a licensed cosmetologist and 10 years as a former salon owner. I help hairstylists and salon owners like yourself form working systems in their life and business that help take them to the next level. I help them save time and money, all while creating a lifestyle that they love. So I help you gain more clients, right? I help you to maintain the ones you have and profit for real in your business. Now, guys, I'm feeling a little funky again because I can see those numbers going up and down. And I don't know how to explain what's been going on with my Wi-Fi, my connection on my phone. It's just really been acting ugly. And so I'm going to need you guys to give me some help. Good evening. Great topic. Bring it. Awesome. So that means that you can hear me. You guys let me know if the broadcast begins to act a little funky on us, right? And it may be something that we'll have to continue at another time. Maybe I need to check and see what's going on. The internet's been acting funny. So all that I ask while you're on the broadcast is if I say something that helps your business, right? Tap that screen for hearts to show me some love. Let me know the information that I'm giving you is helping you, right? And then there's a little button down on the left hand side. Press it. It allows you to share out with other industry professionals who want to grow their clientele. They want to talk about social media marketing and they want to, maybe they've been pushing for their friends and family to support them and come and get services and things of that nature. And I want to dispel some of the rumors, right, that we sometimes think about friends and family being our ideal customers. Now, it's true that when you first get out of beauty school, oftentimes your family and friends are, your customers in the beginning. That may be the chance, right? If anyone knows that sometimes those are the people that are coming to you, allowing you in the very beginning, allowing you to do services on them, try new techniques and things of that nature. And most oftentimes you don't do their hair at regular cost. So that may be the case in the very beginning, in the very beginnings. And then for some of you, that may never have occurred. Some of you may have left beauty school and actually, started building your clientele while you were already in beauty school and weren't as dependent on family and friends being your customers. Let me give you guys a few examples. I'm going to transition you from me being a stylist behind the chair to me becoming a salon owner, my clients then, and even my clients now for consulting. And remember, as you're on, guys, because I've been having difficulty with my internet, let me know if the broadcast, if you guys can hear me, right? And so while we're chatting, just, kind of type in the comments if it's acting a little funky on us, and I'll have to finish it at another time. Hey, I can't do anything about it. I've tried everything I know to do. And so, as I was saying, most oftentimes when a student is first getting out of school, they're looking for, someone to service. And usually it's a family member, that's willing to come and let them try different techniques on them. Maybe they're testing out color and they're not charging the family fully. But how many of you at this stage in your career, tell me about how many family members you service on a regular basis? And you can put that number in the comments. Out of your clientele on a weekly to bi-weekly basis, about how many of those people are your family and friends? Can you guys hear me? How many of those people are your family and friends? And I'm going somewhere with this because oftentimes, we can feel that family and friends are going to support us, but that is not many. Absolutely, right? That's normally not the case. But that doesn't mean that family members and friends still don't go other places and get their hair done. I don't hear me, right? It doesn't mean that they don't go to other stylists and pay them for services to get their hair done and pay full price. And it's not necessarily because, you don't do a great job. It's just what it is, guys. It's just what it is. And if you guys are looking to truly grow your clientele, you have to broaden your horizon about who is going to sit in your chair. You got to think on a larger, more grand scale about who's going to sit in your chair. I can't even, count on one hand the number of people who were my family and friends who got services with me, who paid, weren't looking for a deal. Now, I probably had about maybe 4 friends who scheduled with me regularly. They just paid. Oftentimes when they did schedule, sometimes they would come with, the full amount, and sometimes I'd throw in a haircut or things of that nature. But those that came knew that, coming to me was, just as valuable as coming to any other stylist. And so paying me was an expectation. Only a few, right, Patrina? Only a few. So they knew that paying me was, a normal expectation, because trust me, if they don't go to you, they will go to another stylist, because they don't always want to pay the full price, but it's not a problem. Even if they don't go to you, they'll go to another stylist and pay full price, right? It's just what it is, guys. So I think oftentimes if you're attempting to build your clientele off of the people that you already know and your family and friends, then you're doing yourself a disservice. You have to broaden your vision. When I opened my salon, well, even before opening my salon, as I said before, there were only maybe a handful of my family members and friends that actually came to me on a consistent basis. I could actually consider them a client, not just a customer, that paid me full price. And then the transition rolled over even to me becoming a business owner with who I hired. So for those of you who are salon owners, right, and sometimes we may be expecting some of our hair buddies in the industry to come and work with us, to come and rent a booth with us, to come and be employees in our establishment. Sometimes we're setting ourselves up for the wrong expectations. You guys don't hear me. And so you got to think about it like this. It's not going to be the most comfortable thing anyway. I promise you guys, right? I tried it in my early years as far as hiring friends for the business, because oftentimes it is very, very difficult for people to be able to separate the friendship from the business aspect. And so if you recently opened a salon, or you've been at a salon for a while, and you knew several hairstylists in the industry, but when you opened the salon, it was crickets. Like none of them were coming to ask to rent a booth from you. Don't feel bad. That is pretty much how it goes, guys. And so you should definitely set your sights out. You should definitely set your sights out. Hey, Jason, how are you, dear? Hey, Pam, how are you, darling? For people that you don't even know. Guys, the majority of my staff, my booth renters, my longest working employee, it was 2 of them. They were actually massage therapists. They didn't look like me. Y'all don't hear me. They didn't look like me. And they lived about 25 minutes outside of the city that I lived in. And they were with me for probably 6 of the years that I owned my salon, right? They were some of the longest running staff members, my front desk, even my assistant. None of them were like connected to me in any way before I opened the business, right? So you guys have to broaden your horizon about who you are expecting to come one and work in your business, and who you are expecting to sit in your chair, guys, right? And so you just need to clear your mind of that. And if you just so happen to get people from the area, if you just so happen to get people who you know, who are your friends, who come and have services with you, and people from the direct area that you know to actually come and work in your salon, consider it a plus. But you have to market for people outside of the friends and family list. You guys don't hear me. And I'm going to give you guys the perfect example. And I want you guys to put a 1 in the comments if you understand this concept and you've seen it to be true yourself. For instance, on social media, let's talk about social media, guys, because many times we can get likes confused with customers. Somebody put that in the comments. Many times we can get likes confused with customers, but you'll find 9 times out of 10, just because they like your social media statuses or your posts that you put on Facebook or even your hairstyles does not mean that they're turning into a customer. Y'all put a 1 in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't mean that they're turning into a customer. Prime example, I consult with hairstylists and salon owners on growing their business. We can get likes confused with customers, absolutely, on growing their business. Guys, I live in North Carolina, right? My clients are from Arizona, and these are some clients that I'm actually working with right now. They're from Arizona, they're from Kentucky, they're from Maryland, they're from Virginia, they're from all over, right? So I rarely have an expectation for people who are connected to me right in my local area to always come and do business with me. That's not where my vision is, right? That's not how I created who my ideal customer was. I wasn't necessarily looking for people right in my area to come and do business with me. That's just normally, it usually works in reverse, right? What normally happens is you get people that you don't know, that aren't your friends and family, who come to do business with you, and then you may become what they consider popular, and then they consider doing services with you. But when you're looking to market for your business, you should broaden your horizons about who you actually want to sit in your chair, who you actually want to come and work in your salon or barbershop. I see you on, Jason, or barbershop, because if not, you're going to set yourself up for a fail. Listen, guys, I get inbox messages all the time about how great, people enjoy my live broadcast, and, even people in my area who tell me how much they value me and things like that. But if you send them a link to pay, y'all don't hear me. If you send them a link to pay, that's where the determining factor will come in. And one of the things about your ideal customer is they're not going to have an issue with paying you. Y'all put that in the comments. They're not going to have an issue with paying you. And so sometimes when you're marketing, you're actually marketing to the wrong people. And so you're feeling frustrated, like, I get all these likes on social media, but rarely do they turn into customers. And one of the things that I do in my strategy sessions, depending on what the person is coming to me for and where they want to base the bulk of their marketing messages from, is I help them to determine who their target market is. Likes don't equal customers. It took me a minute to realize that. Okay, they don't, guys. And they're great. They give you affirmation that people are enjoying what you're saying. They're enjoying the styles and the pictures that you're putting up, but it doesn't equal money. It doesn't equal money. And how you determine that is when you put a link up for somebody to pay. That's going to let you know what's 100. Right? And so you guys have to be very mindful when you're on social media. Even if you see people who have thousands of followers and thousands of likes, it does not always equate to, an exchange for money. Don't get it twisted, guys. And when it becomes an exchange for money is when those people have found their ideal customer and their target market, and they know how to market to those particular people, right? Because just because someone is liking your picture doesn't always mean they want to do business with you or they want to sit in your chair. It may generally mean, oh, she did really great work. I really like that hairstyle. Sometimes it means, I love that hairstyle. I'm going to send that picture to my stylist. Y'all don't hear me, and see if she can duplicate that on me. Sometimes that's what it means. So you guys have to be really careful when you're marketing on social media. Hey, Tawanda, how are you, dear? That you're not getting it twisted. You're not getting the likes twisted. Now, they do have their place. I'm going to do a quick reset. Some more people joining. If this is your first time and you've never, ever, ever been on a live broadcast with me before, I am Tanya Wilson-Cherry. I'm a business consultant and certified life coach. I have a 20-plus year background in the beauty industry as a licensed licensed cosmetologist, and 10 years as a former salon owner. I help hairstylists and salon owners just like yourself form working systems in their business that are relevant, that help take them to their next level. I help them save time and money, all while creating a lifestyle they love. If you're trying to maintain the customers you have, grow your clientele, or profit in your business for real, I am your girl. And so I come on 2 days out of the week, Mondays and Wednesdays, 8:30 a.m. on both days, and then 2 o'clock on Mondays and 9:15 p.m. on Wednesdays, specifically for the hair industry, salon owners and hairstylists. And I give them strategies and tips that they can actually use and apply when they're thinking about and attempting to grow their business. And so that's what we're doing tonight. And our broadcast, we're talking about your family and friends are not likely your ideal customers. And so we're also combining social media marketing as well as growing your clientele. And so, you guys really have to understand social media in order to turn likes into buyers, right? You have to be able to post things that are going to relate to your target market or even your ideal customer. Now, I'm going to give you guys, because I have about 10 strategies that I use when stylists and salons consult with me personally, that I help them to define who their target market is, because marketing is actually getting the right message to the right people so that they'll make the exchange. You guys know the business exchange, where you're giving them a service, likes into buyers, absolutely, where you're giving them a service and you're being compensated monetarily for it. So that's what marketing actually is. And so if your message doesn't speak to your target market, it's not going to turn them into buyers. It won't turn, those likes into buyers. And so you have to know what to post on social media. But before knowing what to post, you have to know who your target market is. I know plenty of stylists who don't have a clue who their target market is. Couple things. When you're first building your clientele, and this is just me personally, guys, this has been my experience, and many of the stylists who came up in the era that I came up in, and even some stylists today, one of the best strategies that you can have for building your clientele, especially in the beginning, is availability. It's availability. I'm not saying that you can't do it part-time. I'm not saying that you can't, have a clientele for only a few days. But when you're first starting out, the fastest way to build your clientele is through availability. When I started in the industry, guys, we humped. I can remember one Christmas Eve taking a client at 12 o'clock, midnight. Y'all don't hear me. Now, I do believe that that was a little over the top, right? But I was young. I didn't have kids. I didn't have a husband. And, I was like, why not get the money, right? And so I do believe that that's an easy way to burn out. But I also feel that availability is one of the quickest ways to grow your clientele. I see so many people attempting to build a clientele and they work a full-time job. Now, guys, y'all know you got to do what you got to do, right? Don't y'all tell nobody I told y'all to quit your job, because don't quit your first job until you know you got something that can take care of what you already have going on, right? And so that just may be how you'll have to build. But if you're trying to make a lucrative career in this industry, it is more difficult, or it takes longer, let me say that, to build your clientele if you only, do hair. Oh, there it is, to start out. Now, I'm not saying, for those of us who've been in the industry for quite some time, as we begin to transition to something else, or we decide to take Saturdays off, we've built up enough clientele where we can maintain by, cutting back on some of the days that we have. Thank you so much, Pamela, for sharing that. Guys, if I say something that's helping your business or your life, something that you agree with, be sure to tap the screen for hearts to let me know it's registering, and make sure it's a button on the left. It allows you to share out with your followers, someone else in the industry who may be a little confused about growing their clientele. Ivan, Saint, Justy, thank you, first timer, for joining me this evening. I'm Tanya Wilson-Cherry, business consultant, certified life coach. 20+ year background in the beauty industry, 10 years as a former salon owner. I help hairstylists and salon owners like yourself form working systems in their business that are relevant, that help take them to their next level. I help them maintain the customers they have, grow their clientele, and profit for real in their business. So I thank you for joining us on the broadcast for this evening. And we're talking about when you're first building your clientele and the best way to do it. Now, I will say this, because there's always an exception to every rule. You guys know that, right? There's always an exception to every rule. There was a time when I worked at a salon that was like an hour and 45 minutes away from where I lived. That wasn't intentional. Some things happened. My apartment burned. I got a place back where I originally lived, and I drove back to the other place 3 days a week. And so I basically built my clientele in 6 months off of 2 days. Right. And now you have to know that things were a little different back then too. Clients, it was an influx of clients. If you knew how to do hair, it just wasn't hard to build a clientele. There wasn't social media. People were, with stylists for a longer period of time during that time. And so if you stood out, in the least bit and you did a great job, it was easier to build a clientele. Nice to meet you, Yolanda. Is this your first time visiting with us? I appreciate you and thank you for sharing. So I did build a clientele in 6 months. And I started out with only 2 available days, but I humped, guys, meaning everywhere I went, I passed out a card. Everywhere I went, my conversation was about my clientele, how I could service people and things of that nature. So I was grinding. And then the other advantage was I also let the clients know that I would be adding on an additional day soon, right? And so if you are, working a part-time job and you're attempting to build your clientele, if you're in a position, now this is my disclaimer because I didn't tell anybody to quit their job because you need to pay the bills, right? But if you are in a position that the job that you are working, you can gradually, move away from the job, then you can let the customers know that I'm only available for 2 days, but in the next 6 months, I'll be adding another day of availability onto my clientele. So that's one of the things that you can do. You got to have those conversations with people, guys, as you're building your clientele. They need to know, and it also determines whether or not they're going to be consistent with you as well. Right, so availability is a huge factor when you're beginning to build your clientele. The next thing that you guys have to take in mind is that as you grow and change, so will your clientele. Y'all don't hear me. As you grow and change, so will your clientele. Now you're going to have a specific set of people. They're just going to stay with you. I mean, they really love everything about you. They love seeing your growth. They're willing to go the mile with you. If you move, they moving. If they move, you move, right? If you move, they move. They're just going to ride with you either way. But a lot of your clientele is going to change as you do. For instance, when I first started out in the industry, I partied. I went to the club. That's where I passed my card out at. Right? And so that's who my clientele was. But as I began to grow and change and my standards changed and my idea of what loyalty as far as a client was concerned changed, my clientele changed. Because guys, when I was young and partying, if you're partying, you might not make your appointment on time, right? I'm not necessarily the stylist, but, a lot of the customers, they just got in from the club. You talking about a 7 o'clock appointment on Saturday, oftentimes they would need to call you back and ask her to reschedule. And, they were just a free spirit. So as I began to change, my clientele began to change as well. And so what I'm talking about now is target market. Whether you guys know it or not, this is part of what a target market is. And one of the things I do in my paid courses and when I do renew strategy sessions, helping stylists individually one-on-one to build their salon or their business. Wow, so true. I was just thinking this. Clientele changes as we do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Is that Wandalyn? I like how your name is spelled, dear. I like how your name is spelled. But yes, so your clientele is going to change as you do. So if you begin to see transitional shifts in your clientele, you can cool believe that you've changed. Somewhere down the line, you've probably changed. Whether or not you begin implementing policies and procedures that you didn't have before. Everybody don't want to follow rules. Y'all don't hear me. Everyone doesn't want to follow rules. And so as you begin to change some of your policies and some of the things that you are doing in your salon so that it runs more efficiently and more effectively for you, so that you can actually look at your book and say, I really do have 8 people down for today that I can count on. I really do have 12 people down for today that I can count on. You know, you're not looking at, yeah, they'll probably cancel because you put policies in place. And people who don't like policies and procedures, if you begin to implement those things, they'll find another stylist that doesn't mind them being late, that doesn't mind them not calling and canceling and things of that nature. But you will also begin to attract people who appreciate timeliness. Y'all don't hear me. Hey, Lena, how are you, dear? So you'll begin to attract people who appreciate timeliness. So when you guys hear things like target market, as I was saying before, my paid customers in my paid courses and classes, I help them to really strategize and find out who their target market is, because it helps them to market. Right? It helps them to market. And so I have about 10 to 12 top tips that I use to help them strategize. I'm going to give you guys 3 on the free. Y'all hear me? I'm going to give you guys 3 on the free. But it would be so unfair to my paid customers and the people who take classes with me to just give you guys the same information that they actually invest and spend money with me to get. So I'm going to give you guys 3 of those 3 of my top 10 to 12, because they're probably about 20 different things that you could consider, or even more, when you're figuring out who your target market is and who your ideal customer is. And so oftentimes when we're marketing on social media, in our mind, everybody is our customer. Yeah, don't hear me. Timeliness and will tip well. I'm just saying, guys, there's another target market. If you're struggling, there's another target market that, 1, doesn't mind paying you, 2, they don't mind being on time, because 1, they expect you to be on time. And so as you begin to change your standards and what you desire from your customers, you also have to make sure that you're on point. Y'all don't hear me. You also have to make sure that you're on point, because we can't, expect people to be on time and then we have them sitting in there waiting 5 hours for a shampoo style. Because most of the people who are willing to wait 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, they probably not going to be the people that are necessarily, right? Remember, I said there's an exception to everything, but they may not necessarily be your most timely customers. Y'all don't hear me. Lena said, funny, I was actually working on this tonight, popped on, and you came up. So true. And so, guys, as we, and guys, now one of the things, I was always timely, but I didn't understand how to implement policies. I was actually forced into implementing policies. I didn't ask anybody, what do I need to do about these people who are canceling? I said, look, I'm going to put a policy on this. I literally have had one of the same policies. I've been doing hair about 24 years. I'm not full-time anymore because I consult for the beauty industry full-time. But when I was full-time for at least 17 years of my career, I had a cancellation policy. It's just, I also required a deposit for a sew-in for as long as I can remember, guys. Maybe all of my policies and procedures about my 4th year in, and I've been doing this almost 24 years now, or it may be 24. I lose count. But I've had policies where they had to pay a deposit in order to get a sew-in service or something that was going to take up 3-4 hours on my book. Because what I realized was, because I was busy, when someone scheduled for a sew-in, it would take up like 4 slots on my book. And then if they canceled, in my mind, I've missed money. And by the time they cancel, it's too late to call anyone else. Another thing I started doing, I started making a preferred waiting list. There was a season in my career where I was really busy. Like I had 2 assistants, it was nothing for 15, 16 people to brace my chair for the day. And I would have a waiting list. So I called it my preferred waiting list. And because I had the cancellation policies in place, my sewing cancellation policies were actually 48 hours in advance. 48 out, not 24, but 48, right? In advance. Or they would have to, they could schedule for another time. They would lose the deposit if they didn't cancel within the 48 hours. But if they canceled within the 48 hours, they could transfer the deposit over to another appointment, right? And just regular shampoo styles that weren't too intense as far as the spaces on my book. I've always had like a 24-hour policy. So especially people who've been to me for a long time, it shouldn't be unheard of, because I had it forever, and it was just a way for me to begin to run a real business. Y'all hear me? Run a real business. I'm going to scroll down and see what everyone is saying so I can comment. It's so hard because I'm so close to my clients, but I had to learn to separate the two. Yeah, you have to. And then, one of the things you might anticipate when you are going to introduce policies and procedures that you haven't had for a while, that the clients aren't accustomed to, you may very well get some people who are going to leave, right? And so you have to be prepared for that possibility, right? Because it's probably nothing personal with you, but they may struggle with being on time. And so, they don't want to keep paying the fees and different things of that nature. So whenever you are getting ready to put different policies and procedures in place, you need to have different ways of attracting new customers into your business, like email marketing. Tanya, how are you? Thank you for joining, dear. Deposit would be awesome for everything. I don't require a deposit for everything. I just make sure. One of the things that my front desk did, they had a phone script, and in the phone script, they would ask them, is this your first time visit with us? And so if they heard the person say, this is my first visit with you, they knew at the end of the call, this customer needs to hear our policies and procedures. And so there was a phone script for that. My client got mad at me, went on Facebook asking for a new stylist because she was 52 minutes late, and I rescheduled her, but she was always late 30 minutes or more. You have to have some type of standards, guys. You can't even figure out like what is an ideal income for the week, what is an ideal income for the month, if you never know whether the client is coming or not. And eventually, as you begin to grow your business and it becomes more foundational, you're going to begin to put those policies and procedures in place, and then you're going to attract a different target market, which is what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I'm going to give you 3 things, 3 questions that you can ask yourself when you're trying to decide, because most of you don't know who your target market is. It's not something we had to talk about in beauty school, right? We had to be able to make a precision cut, part the hair in 5 parts, whether it's vertical, 45, 90-degree cut. That's what we had to deal with. That was the technical side of it for us. But there's definitely a technical side when you're operating your hairstylist career as a business, as a career, something that's going to pay the bills, send the kids to college, pay the car payment if you have one, send you on vacations, pay for your IRA. It's real. This is our means of income. And if we don't treat it like a business, then it's not going to treat us like a business owner. You guys got that? And so you are going to begin to attract a different type of clientele when you begin to really enforce your policies. And some of you have policies, but you don't enforce them. Some of you have policies, but you don't enforce them. And at some point, some of it is going to be, wait a minute, I deserve, if I'm timely, if I'm going to classes, I'm being trained, I'm a good stylist, I deserve customers who are going to value and respect my time. And so you guys are going to begin to attract a new target market. Here are a couple questions that you can ask yourself if you're trying to decide, like, who is my target market? One, who is most likely to buy your brand or service? Now, we just talked about several different things, guys. So, part of your brand is what people think about when they hear your name or they hear your business. That's really what your brand is. If they think timeliness, if they think, professional, if they think they're not going to have you in there all day, all of that is part of your brand. And so what type of people want to come and do business with you, who appreciate timeliness, who appreciate professionalism, who appreciate you getting them out on time. There's a certain section of people in the world, right? Those are some of the things that they value. Now you're dealing with your target market. Another question is, what is the best way to reach them? Like, once you realize who your target market is, especially if you're trying to market on social media, you have to know what platform is your ideal customer or your target market even on. Because everyone, I think a lot of people are on Facebook. A lot of people are on Facebook. But your target market may not be on Snapchat. Now, I've never used Snapchat, guys, right? But I'm just saying that your target market might not be on Snapchat. And so when you're trying to decide how you're going to market your business on social media, you have to know who your target market is so that you're not wasting your time, your energy, your resources, your money, and your efforts on the wrong platform where your target market isn't even at, or where customers are who aren't going to flow well with your business. You guys get that? These are things that I help hairstylists and salons determine when they do strategy sessions with me. I help them determine like who their target market is, who's their ideal customer, how to market to that person so that you can turn likes into folks that's going to come and have services with you. You guys tap the screen if you understand what I'm saying, right? There's some magic to this that most people don't talk about. We see all the likes and we get hyped, and then nobody's calling the phone from the likes, right? You know, you might get one person here or one person there who liked the picture and connected with you, but for the most part, you're like, okay, it's like 30 likes up there, and you know, nobody called to get a service. And so you have to know who your target market is so that you're speaking their message. You know, anybody can like a picture because it's a great style. They can like the picture so that they can show it to their original stylist, right? That could be why they're liking the picture. Or it's just great work, but it doesn't mean that they're actually going to come and sit in your chair. But you can reach them quicker, sooner, faster if you understand who your target market is and begin to design your social media posts and messages around what your target market enjoys. And here's another one, what's most important to them. And so you'll create your marketing message based on what's important to your target market. But you got to know who your target market is. And guys, you know, this is the thing. Now, especially for those of you who are in the industry and you're looking to branch out into possibly teaching or teaching a level of expertise in the industry, right? And then you're using social media as a platform to attract people who would want to come to your classes and things of that nature. One of the things that is really, really important for you to understand is that likes don't always turn into money, right? And so this is why people go and do events and then, you know, no one is there. They may have had a lot of hype on social media, and then, you know, you go to do something that you think they need, and not a lot of people show up. And so it's important that you know who your actual customer is. For example, I have several collaborations that I'm doing with stylists in did you hear me say in other cities? Because one thing I understand is that my friends and my family are not my target market. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't have people from my area who come and do business with me, but those aren't going to be my highest numbers. You guys get that? You guys get that? And so, you know, that's why it's important to know who your target market is on social media. For instance, I'm in North Carolina, but I have hairstylists and salon owners from Arizona, Maryland, Virginia, DC, Kentucky, Florida, Texas. You know, they're from everywhere other than right in the central area that I live. I do have some in the area that I live to come, but that's not who I'm marketing to, guys. It normally happens the opposite way. Remember at the beginning of the broadcast, I said, oftentimes it's people that you don't know, that you don't even know, who are actually going to begin to do business with you first. And then maybe the people in your area will get on board and see another level of value in you. And so, you know, inbox messages don't count. You know, they don't always count as customers. I get several people who inbox me and tell me how much they love my broadcast and how much it's helping their business. And, they want to ask me questions about how to do this or do that. But I'm a consultant. So if I answer a question for you, then I've just given you a service. And so oftentimes when people come in my inbox to ask me questions about their business, I send them a link. I send them a link, right? And it's at that time whether or not that's the determining factor of whether or not people really want to work with you when it's time to make the exchange. You guys hear me? Y'all tap the screen. Y'all tap the screen, right? Because, as a consultant, that's what I do. I give information. It's a stream of income. And so I'm not going to give you strategies in my inbox, right? But I do have things that I come on and I choose to give, right? I choose to give to you all. And I feel like, this is how we market. You either market through time or money. You either spend the time to figure it out on your own or spend money. That's how you're going to market, guys. There's like no other way. You either take the time, and most of the time you're investing both, right? To grow your business, to market your business, or whatever it is, you're going to have to put some time in it, and you're going to have to put some money in it. And oftentimes, if you don't have the time to be able to figure out, all the bits and pieces of information that you're learning from Google and live stream and Periscope and all of those things, then you have to pay someone like me to strategize it, who's already done the work, who can help you get there quicker, sooner, faster. But if not, it's going to be time or money. And the same goes for your business, right? If someone is coming in and they want to know what's the proper way to do this, how do they maintain this, you're doing a consultation, guys. You're doing a consultation. You can include that with your service, but if they're only coming in with you and you're going to spend, X number of, 15, 20, 30 minutes with them, and then they're going to take that same information that valuable information that you've given them and go somewhere else and tell them what to do to their hair, or attempt to do those same services at home, there should be an exchange somewhere. There should be an exchange somewhere. You guys get that? And so when you're talking about marketing for social media and growing your clientele, especially through social media, you got to know who your target market is. If not, you're going to be frustrated because it's going to feel like your efforts are not working. So, I was thinking, I said, well, what is a way, I looked at some of the products that I actually have, because one thing I noticed with stylists, you guys are doing hair, right? You don't always feel like making the time, because I'm not going to say you don't always have the time, because I believe that whatever is important to us, we make time for it. Y'all don't hear me. But some of you are better as self-learners. You charge a consultation fee. Some of you are, and you guys have to think about whether or not you should charge a consultation fee. Not everyone does, but it is something to consider, right? Depending on how detailed you're going with your consultations, whether or not Pamela said it's given her life. Awesome, amazing, awesome, Pam. I appreciate it. And so, I was thinking, I said, what would be the best way for those of you who are self-learners and you know that you need some different systems in your business, and maybe what you want to spend, you have a budget of less than $100. I created a bundle, and it's videos. It's 3 whole classes, and I bundled it for $97, right? Only $97. And it allows you guys to, I go in detail about target market in 2 of the videos, I believe. One of them is email marketing, and I push it all the time because I feel that hair salons need a marketing plan, and email is one of the easiest ones to begin implementing. And many people attempt to do email marketing, but without a system, it'll be an epic fail. And I say it'll be an epic fail because there'll be no consistency to go with the email marketing. But inside the email marketing class, it's a downloadable video class. I teach you a system that you can implement and use monthly, teach you how to write the newsletter, and it also includes 12 months of promotionals. And what promotionals are, maybe you have it's Mother's Day. If you guys should already have a promotional prepared for Mother's Day, right? It should already either be sent out or being sent out. It should have been sent out, last last month if you were really timely about it. But those are promotionals. So for 12 months, there are promotional ideas inside this email marketing class. There's also another class called Growing Your Clientele, where I give you 4 strategies on growing your clientele. That's by video as well. And then the third class that's included in that bundle is called Video Marketing, and I talk about the 4 videos that I feel every business needs. It doesn't always have to be a live stream video, but if it is a live stream video, I teach you how to create the content to put on your videos when you're live streaming, so that you're attracting your ideal customers, so that you're attracting your target market and not just talking to anybody. Because oftentimes, now in my position is different, because you guys are my customers. Hairstylists and salon owners are who do business with me. So for me to talk to stylists, that's how it should be. But I see many stylists talking to stylists when they come on the live stream. They talking to the stylists, and that's not your customer. Unless you got a lot of stylists sitting in your chair every week, that's not your customer. So I talk about your target market and who your customer is, and how to create content to come on live stream. I go into that, into the basics of that, and also give you 3 other videos that I feel every salon should need. But if you purchase it tonight, the bundle is $97. If you purchase it tonight before midnight, I'm going to throw in another class, and it's actually a webinar that I gave just last night, actually. No replay was given out to those who actually came to the webinar, but eventually but in the next 2 days, it will be up on my website, and the starting price for that particular webinar is going to be $47. But if you purchase the bundle tonight, I'll add that in with the bundle, and you'll get it free. And the class is Salon Promotions and Profits. And I talk about 15 things that you need to know when you're pricing your services, you're doing promotions, because I see people doing so many promotions where, maybe they're doing a sew-in for $50, and I want to know, how are you profiting in your business? Just because you're selling them the hair, how are you really profiting in the business? The hair should be an extension to the service, right? And so in my Salon Promotions and Profit webinar, you guys will get the replay from that particular course too, if you purchase the bundle tonight before 12. Other than that, that course won't be included in it. But the bundle is $97. If you're looking, $100 investment is small. It's a small investment for a great return. So your return on investment. And I bundled these particular things together because I feel, from consulting with hairstylists and salon owners, these are some of the first basic things that they need when they're looking to grow their clientele and market their business. And you guys can go to bit.ly/salonbizproducts, bit.ly/salonbizproducts. And if you purchase it tonight before 12, you'll receive the free replay of Salon Promotions and Profits in the next 24 hours after you purchase the bundle. Jason says husbands are a good target audience for marketing those holiday specials. Go ahead, Jason. And so, guys, you got to be able to craft your marketing message to the people who actually are going to do business with you, right? You got to put some thinking behind your marketing and not just simply posting, right? Now, I'm not saying that you can't post something on social media and let them know that you have a few slots available today and get some customers, but a continuous flow, you need a marketing plan and a system. You need a system for everything for sustainability, right? If you don't want it hit or miss, you need systems in place. Are there any questions? We're talking about your family and friends. Are they your likely ideal customer? Thank you for joining, Jessica. I appreciate you. And we talked about social media marketing and growing your clientele. I was going to make this no replay, but I'm going to leave it up. And I'm going to put that link in the broadcast with you guys. I'll leave it up at least until 12, this particular video. But guys, if you're looking to invest and you want to know different ways to market your business, that business bundle is an amazing one. Hey, Dale, how are you? Tawanda coming back on. So I'm wondering if it's acting a little funky on us. If there are no questions, I'll sign off. I appreciate you guys as always. If you've been on a live broadcast with me before, you know what we do at the end. We tap the screen for hearts to show love, and then we press that little share button on the left-hand side so another industry professional could get the message, apply some of the strategies to their business, and see change. I appreciate you guys as always, always, always. You're amazing. Peace.